Okay, we're back, okay. My apologies for that. I'm normally streaming at about 2,800, so 5,000 was not my bitrate. It was also showing a red bar. Okay, so if I move to recruits, I'm gonna have to stay to that day's range. Alright, it's time for the cool music. I've always wondered why that isn't a combat theme. But I suppose I'm pleased because I first heard that in Smash. I think that might be what it is. I have no idea what my video settings are sometimes, to be honest. And it's hardware encoded. That's all I could tell you. Alright, so we have Caster. He is a different class than the Archer. Archer will eventually turn into a sniper, I believe, and he will eventually turn into a mounted archer. I think stat-wise he's like a... To be honest, most units are usable in this game. He's a bit stronger than Gordon. What going gonna try to do is see if I can open up the path. Now my intention was to send Drogue up in there. But I don't think the order is going to work out like I want. To see drug levels. I mean, if he keeps hitting speed, he won't fall behind, that's for sure. I'm surprised they actually hit him on a 30% hit rate. Now the thing I'm worried about is that Barstow has kinda low at the moment. Three damage, 6 damage. 7 damage. He can survive this no matter what, so I think he's off. We will trade the hand axe over and pick this up, I think, just for safety's sake. Well, did not really accomplish what was expected. This guy we can probably give to Mark, since it's a free kill. But when I put her javelin in range to counter this archer, if it go Martha go. So that little spot diagonally above the staircase should be enough. Staircase, I'm at bridge. Yeah, none of these days are that much of a threat. We do want an iron lance to fill in the gaps here. And the hand axes are kind of nice. I'll have him dismount here with his sword, and he'll be off. Your stats lose a decent amount of. Your units lose a decent amount of stats if you don't have your mounts on. Of course Jagan just wants to play the game, I guess. They just want to die, the opponents, they just want to die to the old man. You have to stop doing this. Jagan currently has a 60% crit rate. Out of the 5 attacks in the game that he has done, he has crit on 3 of them. Which by standards means he's not doing his job very well. His ability to raise his stats is very poor. He will not level very good. So the idea that Jagan serves his 2 fights units to weaken them for you. There we go, Obama doing his job. It's really just going to say that every time I try. Obama, Peter needs some healing. For these handbags days he's off. Like this one guy isn't the most inopportune location. Here, eat an arrow, please. There we go. First level for Gordon. It was a level. Drove is hungry. I shall continue to give him experience points. This is a reference to how we can just kind of access her inventory at any time. Some games will have an intentional unit that is the person who handles your inventory management on maps. That was a pretty good level. Main thing you're looking for, Mark, is mostly just some bulk. His survival is not the best. If he levels up well enough, he can be one of your good main units, but usually he won't get that strong. I'm not going to bother trying to move the rest of my units across the board. We'll just resolve this little situation over here. Yeah, that's the kind of levels you expect to see. So this is some forward advice for what will be happening in the next chapter. So another free 3,000. And there is no worry weekly. I don't want people to be feeling forced to talk. I mean, I do prefer having chatted, but honestly I am of the perspective that I would be here doing my own thing, regardless. I'm trying not to even stress too much about talking all the time myself. Many have already done more than enough talking for today. Alright, whoever here will best use his experience. We'll go ahead and see if we can get our green tab a level. He has been waiting on it for a while. It didn't disappoint. We'll go ahead and let Mark pick this guy. Okay, so this guy has no attack speed, because there's no chance of doubling us. Now, the silver lance I can actually transfer to somebody else. He will attack us from range, so... I believe she can use this from the start. Which is another reason why she is so very powerful. She has 7 attack speed with it, that is crazy. She one-rounds this guy. He does 12, I have 8 defense, I can take 2 rounds of combat. More fool than a fish. Now, if he's doing 12 on a hits, I have guts. Abel can survive that if he provides some backup. We're getting really lucky on her hits here. We'll go ahead and use the rapier for a crit chance. Like that. Yeah, that level is about what I expected. Something you'll see that most lords are known for throughout the series. His leveling speed and luck and skill. And Martha is definitely one of those. As it so happens, the spot where that lady that we have to save is also there, so we're right on the way to do it. That is chapter 2. No losses so far, but the game's not super hard just yet. We have to cross the mountains. In this dark age of the world, there's a lot of people who are just starting to line their own pocket. Now I've got a much larger, more complicated move. Or we can cross these mountains the whole military unit. We're not really that big. I mean, we're only 12 in size. Said the bandits we were told to look out for, specifically Navarre, isn't here because they'll show up in a bit. This is one of those examples of the game rewarding you for paying attention. Now this guy might be higher level, but he's really not any more dangerous than most of the ones we fought so far. Would the men's staff suggest something that's going to happen with this map, that we're going to get our first healer? Now that is a hairstyle. So here's Lena, the lady that they were telling us about. As it turns out, saving her won't be that hard. She isn't normally the first healer you get in the game. On the very first island there's supposed to be a healer named Louise. He's an old guy that you recruit, but he was cut from memory space in the scam. There are 1 or 2 characters that were actually cut from this game compared to the original first one. Now this is a guy we were told to look out for. He's a lot more frail than Obama, but his sword is very dangerous. Jillian is our first thief, and thieves are slightly redundant in the scam. I don't know why he keeps turning the game into scam. Probably my tired voice. Now withdraw Gherkin Kid over there. He can probably do a lot, but he's so very slow. And the warp staff is very useful, so you may wish to preserve it. They meant to trade that spear, but it's fine. It's a question of whether we send Oakman north, or if we send him to go resolve the situation out west. Once the archers are gone, it's not nearly as dangerous. I'll leave him over here, probably. It's a little bit difficult at the site to send who and where, but we'll do it this way, I think. I don't wear that much steel production was still going on. But I suppose it's not like the demand ever disappears. Thing with data centers is that through a rift, Griffiths survived through being very loud. Grifters intentionally wanted to be very. It known that, oh, we're building more data centers, look at us, your holy shit, such a great investment, we promise this isn't going to fall apart. Funny enough, the person to recruit from there happens to be Cheetah yet again. I don't know why it came at a Cheetah that time, but it kind of works. I probably should have transferred more hand axes over. I think in terms of medical improvements, the thing I heard recently was there is some research about the covert vaccine secondarily helping to serve as a means of stopping cancers that have hardened up and become unattackable by the body, or something like that. It does something to make them vulnerable again, when they normally wouldn't be. Here's your hands on what to do about recruiting the It's kind of a big talk for a guy with a level 3 and such flimsy of durability. What you have to realize is that cancer is an ancient affliction now. We have evidence of people having to deal with it all the way from ancient times and knowledge of it existing back then. It's one of those things that's if the world put a lot more focus and research on it, then things could maybe happen. But you see all this money that's currently going towards useless buildings that burn down the planet. So the tricky part here is that, if I try to rush in and get Nivera, I have to stop the approaching bandits because this archer is going to be a pain. Frog has 5 moves, so I can get him jammed up there. And I do want to stop him before he runs around and starts creating people. That won't be great. Killing Edge is the classical sword, with high crit rate which makes it dangerous. Once a recruit Nivera, I can move freely, so I just have to clear the first bandit. That should work. I think Julian could handle the fighting that. If I don't think Burst can get it. We still have an out, if this fails. Now, he was apparently capable of one-shotting these guys, I see. Sega really recruits everybody. Her recruitment ability is unparalleled. He is very easily convinced. What I can do is try the iron sword off of Gita just because I don't want to use the killing edge too much. I think this group's got it handled over there. This should be off. Drugs of relative invincibility will start to fall off in time. Also them in my experience with the killing edge. To 30% chances misses both. Can you imagine what it's like to be in this armor, and have like that many people beating on you? I don't know how much we're actually going to use Nevada. He can turn out off. His flimsiness is not ideal. Unfortunately for enemy archers, sometimes the Pegasus is strong enough to remove you from the fight. Six defense isn't great, but he can take 2 rounds of these guys if he has to. We're going to enemy face it. And by that I mean I'm going to leave the enemies to attack me first. Just out of the safety of missing a swing. Now because the way is blockaded, what's going to happen is this thief is going to try to run all the way around to get to the town. So Martha's not going to try and capture just yet. I will let him stand right there. That way the thief thinks the town is still available. Wow, that was great. Probably should have moved there. Other one ends his support range first. What I mean by that is that there's actually an invisible set of gun uses for having some units within 3 tiles of one another. You can generally guess what these are based on their affiliations. Say for instance Martha and Shida. They have a small support with one another. It mostly just kind of affects dodge and hit rate. Okay then. Sure, pop off Abel. That 7% goes off a lot more often than it should. slightly risky situation. That's kind of what you'd expect to see from her. That is a Pegasus Guinea. In the long run you want to see a lot more strength, and maybe even defense, show up there, not likely, but she's been here the whole time. By far she's possibly one of our better units. I mean, that's fair. It will be a bit time consuming to really move anyone else into range of being able to help. Standard old man things. Thank you, old man. I think that dialogue was a little bit sillier than earlier iterations of it. But that's the devil acts. It has really high damage, but it has a chance of hurting yourself, which usually will result in killing yourself. Here it will have your own spear for once. He cannot hit the sky. It's really messing him up. It makes sense that they attack the person who can't retaliate, and who is not standing on a fortress. I think we'll just assume that those folks are going to be over there for the rest of the fight. I think this will be just in range of some of those bandits up north. Enrage the boss in range of that guy. Nobody else though. Levels. Good level. His defense is already pretty okay, sir. I think this is about everyone that I'm gonna bother moving. Maps are really large and that amount of movement range really doesn't help for some of the areas. Good job. Victory music. This will be a good spot to stand in for the moment. Let's get a little bit of healing there. Not bad. Is just going to go off. Wasn't the best level, but we take it. Why? This man just critical hits 3 times in a row. On an 11% chance. I don't know what the orange is doing. Actually wild. now inevitably thinks that the dismounting system mountain units are not as good as infantry. Alright, we're just going to keep doing corrects, I guess. As indoors on a couple of indoor maps, units will be forcibly dismounted. This includes the final map of the game. So this guy hits pretty hard. Did not mean to hit that. Yeah, oh my doesn't survive any combat. Kane would if I send him in. I'm just gonna hope that Jagan doesn't continue to correct everything. Promoted units have cooler animations like the little spirit twirl. I will have you know that Jagan getting a stat was very impressive. He only has a 10% chance to get a level in most stats. Yeah, he can take some combat. Unfortunate. Now with only 4 defense, does that amount of attack? Caster can survive. Oh, he can definitely survive. Shuffle walk. Alright, nice critical. Who do we give this to? I mean, putting more into a more right now wouldn't hurt. This is a lot of a level. Whoever gets it's going to be doing quite a lot. To be safe, we probably wanted to be Obama or one of the Cavaliers. As sure we'll give it to him. Wow. Epic dodge combat. Just starting to get complicated. I really don't want to have to attack with Mark because he's at risk of dying. I'll do it if I have to. Acida carries as usual. A kind of a whatever level. I will check the store before I leave. Nothing really that important here. Sky is kind of our advisor. This dude is kind of our advisor, but the game doesn't really introduce him, so he just kind of shows up. He does get mentioned in the instruction booklet, but I of course don't have that. Apparently, the localization here has taken to making it slightly a joke, that he just kind of shows up. So now we're finding our way to a raid list where we can try to meet up with the resistance. This is going to bring us into the greater plot of things. Are going to finally link up with the people we need to meet to try and save the world here. And we also have the last member of the royal family here. And in lacking forces we suddenly arrive to answer their problem just in time. Guy, get that mode 7. That's what the 3 effect is called. It's one of the rendering modes. Actually have an enemy healer over here. So you're gonna notice we're fighting against a lot more of real units now. There is also recruit, able guy over here. He is well known for not being particularly good. And in the second game being kind of a giant pain to recruit. We'll pick him up for the moment. We have to use her conveniently recruited. Forgive me a second, I'll check it. Let me handle these preparations before I forget what I'm doing. So Julian's not really going to be very useful to us. He does have some applications, but he'll eventually be replaced by Mark. And for that reason he doesn't really need to see combat. Gordon is kind of falling behind, but we've got flyers, this is good. Map for him. Zeta is already looking very frail. Jagan may be worth taking still. Just because I know he can hold the line. Sedated the units that are always coming with us. Yeah, we also want to hear too. So examining the remainder. It's a hard choice. But I feel like Barstool would probably do more. So we'll keep him around. So the killing edge will be very useful for someone to use here. Honestly, I might try using Nidar, he's so frail, but maybe he'll work out. I'll give them a chance. I think the thing you're seeing in that image of Weekly, probably the dots. Dot-based shading. Like you can see on my background. Alright, let's go ahead and end. Deposit stuff that we may need. I think Castor may get the best use out of the steel bow. But for the time being, them being evens, probably fine. I think what we'll do is we will take the killing edge with us. That'll be fine. Battle after work if I spend too long, and perhaps I'll never finish. Man has a turban and a cool mustache. Reality of the situation with this Fire Emblem game is that you'll get a lot of extra units. There's going to be a lot of bench warmers, but you can also lose people pretty easily. Like Gordon is pretty outclassed by Wolf. Violent is something. Russia at least has weapon level. And Hardin's pretty usable. He awkwardly has a steel sword. Southern get right here. It'll be a lot of combat. $12 and $15. It will hurt a bit, but Obama can take it. Well, 12 of 15 is 27 damage. Arneva can survive it too. No reason not to send drug forward. I will put Abel right here. Alright, that should be Moth's group move. No one here has javelins. We will go and try and make her way up through here. And I'll send these two off this way. It'll work. Okay, good thing isn't a flyer on the side, or an archer rather for their flying. Horses move very far. Oh, good job, now this scared of the way. Now we'll lead them back this way. Lances tend to be very heavy and slow. Other will be the general theme you see with trying to employ them. Okay, let's do something about this mess over here. Strongest guy is already weak. "13 twice against that is not going to be enough." I can't do anything about the flyer. Drug will eventually need a new spear. Unsafe, we can't weaken some enemies. Of course. Guy with 6 up can be taken down pretty easily. Oh, come on. Missile will work. Archers really needed double to do it. Nowhere. Aries Weekly. I realize it's a bit late. I can save and suspend this swear etc., which I might do here very soon. This is some future foreshadowing. But there is no need to push yourself weekly. The stream will go on as long as it wishes to. So that item is a dragonstone for the type of unit that they're basically hinting at. Eventually I would like to move towards doing more midday streams, even after clunky. It's a little bit tough for me to be up this late today. I try my best though. An example of how dangerous archers are to flying units. They're so weak. I'm really trying to make me very good. On this run we'll see if that happens. Gotta get up there before those thieves get there. Here is the very lovely healing music. It's not great. So fun fact. Casters did not use to get experience points for healer. Healers did not get experience points for healing originally. What that meant is that if you wanted to level a caster you had to get them punched and combat the overkill there. I don't know if this is in range that night, or not. It may have been a bad move. Nope, just out of range or okay. No matter what I did, it was just going to result in that. Alright, Wolf, good job. I'm going to get him out of the way. It's not a great spot for him to be right now. First, I'm just going to claim this village. Sudden recruit. We have found childhood bestie. Welcome to our first marriage. The spells they have are going to be very strong. Ordinate a caster, not marriage. Focal laser. I'm going to break you. I can't do that, it's already broken. Oh well. They are exactly as you'd imagine, frail but high damage. Decent level for Margot. Now magic books are going to be a little bit hard to come by. The thief had a silver sword. Most. Mages can attack from range and counter melee, so they'll be pretty useful to have. I think everyone over here is fine. Wolf needs to get back over here. Twelve damage is not much. I'm probably just going to camp there. This will be fine enough for the time being. This is our attempt to carry the next map. Old man, sure, there's a lot of stuff for thievery. That's our attempt to tell us that we will have to dismount for the next map. Attacking a healer, because I can. Mena, farming. I imagine Violin is going to be the person who gets attacked here, cause he's just so very weak. Navis is just doing things over there. We'll pick this one up. Unnecessary critical. Kind of a minor thing. But also 1,000 had 1,000 took. So this is telling us about Slayer weapons. They are a type of web, with effectiveness against certain units. This guy is more defensive. I thought he would. Okay, to steal that kill. I had set aside, sure, I guess. Resistance. Leveling that usually doesn't matter. But resistance is a 3% chance. So it's kind of annoying whenever it does go up. Is now finally a major survivor, not a major slayer. So this is a tip about enemy reinforcements too. There probably will be some reinforcements coming from here. Dinner hurt quite a bit. Mathis, what are you doing? Couldn't do that. Cardin needs a heal, we're going to get that to him. I waited instead of healing. Well, he can survive Mavis for sure. And that's only 13 against his 8, so it's only 5. It's not looking great, but he's off. Very useful javelin throw right there. Small tutorial on how to use keys. What do we have in the shop? Good stuff. We'll get ourselves a few of these. They should hopefully hold us for a while. Basic tactics. I was almost expecting a heart and into crit. A bit surprising. Anyways, we can recruit him now. Cavaliers are very much worth our time. I mean that with sarcasm. Of course I say that, and the reality is that we may end up needing these cavaliers in the future. Depends on how the run goes. Girl boss has already fallen for a thief. Either way, he's done exactly cut out for war. His stats very much suggest that as much. I mean, I'd say violent is the one of the most trouble here. Here, shoot this bow for fun. Cool roll. Armor, violence. Alright, Nevers can get this. Amazing. That's not exactly the kind of level I wanted to see. If I can get Merrick around, he'll do a good job at actually blowing these guys apart. And this guy punishes you for using cavalry, which we're not going to run against them anyways. You deliver a javelin too. Chug can walk up here and toss a javelin. That was an interesting very interesting interpretation of what I said. We'll go ahead and rapier this guy. Rep here. It's difficult to say things, people. You know what I was trying to say. Armor Slayer will be good against armor, so that would be useful for fighting this fight here. Now, he's very durable, so... Trying to hit him with too much roller work will in our favor. We'll figure it out next turn. Not really that much defense, so what can happen is that Mary can go over here and Blizzard. Something I do like about this game is that despite being made so early in history, all of the weapons have different sprites. As only the left entrance is the proper one. Relatively simple ending to that one. A look, it's the chapter, that's the title of the game. But that is going to be all for tonight. No losses so far. Didn't really expect any this early. Book 1 is not a super hard game. You are welcome, Seborg, you're welcome, Shinny. I'm going to ride out, and then disappear. I am very sleepy. There is no worried about not chatting much. I have not been the most chatty myself. Either way, see ya.